Chernobyl remains one of the most fascinating and heavily studied places on Earth. On April 26, 1986, an explosion at the plant's fourth reactor released massive amounts of radiation into the environment. Decades later, scientists and filmmakers continue to explore the area, capturing footage of discoveries that range from the mysterious to the truly unexpected. In today's video, we're counting down 15 of the most unusual things ever recorded in Chernobyl, and some of them might completely change how you see this iconic location. When most life vanished under the weight of radiation in Chernobyl, something unexpected began to thrive. Deep within the ruins of Reactor 4, scientists discovered dark fungi growing steadily, feeding on radiation. In the early 2000s, researchers noticed black mold thriving even in areas with dangerously high radiation levels. These fungi contained high levels of melanin, the same pigment in human skin, but in this case melanin was doing more than shielding. It was possibly converting radiation into energy through a process called radiosynthesis, similar to how plants use photosynthesis. Species like Cladosporium sphaerospermum weren't just surviving, they were flourishing by turning one of the deadliest forces on Earth into fuel. NASA even sent samples to the International Space Station in 2016, exploring their potential as radiation shields for deep space missions. The implications are profound. If life can adapt to feed on radiation, what else might evolve in extreme environments on Earth or beyond? In Chernobyl, these fungi grow silently, reshaping our understanding of survival in the unlikeliest of places. And they're not the only strange life forms discovered there. Barn swallows, like many animals in the Chernobyl exclusion zone, have become subjects of scientific study. Since the early 2000s, researchers have observed genetic changes in these birds, including partial albinism, lighter plumage, beak deformities, irregular feather growth, and altered brain size. Yet, despite these mutations, barn swallows continue to thrive in the zone. Their population has increased, likely due to the absence of humans and reduced disturbance in their habitat. Just a few kilometers from the Chernobyl plant lies the Red Forest, named for the reddish-brown color of trees killed after the 1986 incident. This area became a symbol of environmental damage. Declared too hazardous for both humans and wildlife, it was quickly added to the exclusion zone. Decades later, radiation levels in parts of the forest remain dangerously high. Contaminants like cesium-137 and strontium-90 persist in the soil, keeping sections of the forest in a long-term state of decay. Yet, life hasn't disappeared entirely. Researchers using motion-activated cameras have found some animals near the outskirts, but the core of the Red Forest remains largely empty. Wildlife instinctively avoids the most contaminated zones, often showing abnormal behavior or steering clear of heavily affected areas. While some species adapt, the effects of this unique ecosystem are still being studied, and they continue to raise important questions about survival under extreme conditions. As night settles over Reactor 4, a strange blue-violet glow is sometimes seen above the Chernobyl exclusion zone. First reported by survivors in 1986, including firefighters and soldiers, these eerie lights flickered for days after the explosion, illuminating the night sky. The phenomenon puzzled observers for years, as it didn't resemble anything natural or man-made. Scientists later explained that the glow was caused by ionized air interactions when high-energy radiation knocks electrons from air molecules, producing charged particles that emit light as they recombine. Known as Cherenkov radiation, this glow also occurs in other high-radiation environments like nuclear reactors or space. Though less frequent now, the blue light is still occasionally seen above Reactor 4, suggesting that low levels of radiation may still be escaping. While the science is clear, the glow remains a haunting symbol of Chernobyl's legacy, an eerie reminder that the incident's effects continue, quietly and visibly, even decades later. Before the 1986 incident, Avangard Stadium was home to one of Ukraine's notable football teams. Located just a few hundred yards from Pripyat's amusement park, the stadium held 5,000 spectators and was built in the 1970s, mainly featuring players from nearby villages. The team's peak came in 1985 when they finished second in their league. However, the club ceased operations after the 1988 season. Pripyat was a vibrant, youthful city with an average age of 26 and a lifestyle centered around modern energy and progress. It had clubs, pools, cafes, and sports, until everything changed. Today, the stadium stands in silence. Rotting benches, a crumbling press box, and overgrown stands now define the scene. Time-lapse footage has captured nature slowly reclaiming the space, vines crawling up walls, trees pushing through concrete, and moss covering the field. This stadium reflects more than abandonment. It's a symbol of interrupted lives and lost futures. Each image of its decay holds the memory of a city that once thrived, a reminder of dreams paused by forces beyond control. Since human activity ceased in the Chernobyl exclusion zone, nature has returned, bringing both renewal and unsettling changes. One notable case is the eastern tree frog, Hyla orientalis, which has developed unusually dark skin. Scientists found this is due to higher melanin levels, offering protection from radiation. The darkest frogs were found in areas with the highest radiation at the time of the incident, showing a clear link between exposure and adaptation. Mammals, too, are affected. Wild dogs near the site have shown genetic changes possibly linked to radiation exposure. Some species in highly contaminated zones have experienced major population declines. While some scientists see these changes as signs of adaptation, others warn of unknown long-term consequences. Enjoyed the video? Before we continue, don't forget to ring the bell, share it with your friends, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. It truly helps me out, and I promise to bring you even more awesome content. One of the most well-known structures at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant is the new safe confinement, or the dome, built in 2007, 31 years after the incident. Weighing over 36,000 tons and standing 108 meters high, this mobile steel structure was designed to contain radiation for at least 100 years. It shields the environment from radioactive leaks and protects the reactor from external factors like rain and temperature extremes. Inside, a control room monitors all ongoing processes. Before the dome, a temporary shelter, built in just 200 days, handled containment. Though expected to last only 20 years, it remained in place until the dome replaced it. Today, the dome serves not only a critical safety role but also draws visitors interested in understanding the site's history. Footage of the dome reveals its immense scale and complexity. Beneath it lie the remains of Reactor 4, still radioactive, still dangerous. Cameras inside record the melted core and debris, offering rare glimpses into the heart of the 1986 incident, where the consequences are still unfolding. Stories of two-headed wolves and giant snakes in the Chernobyl exclusion zone often circulate, but one of the most well-known creatures is the massive catfish in the nuclear plant's cooling pond. These fish are enormous but not mutants. Their size is explained by the lack of predators and regular feeding by tourists. The cooling pond, once used to regulate the reactor's temperature, now acts as a reservoir where fish and other aquatic life thrive despite radioactive contamination. After the 1986 incident, radioactive water was pumped into the pond, exposing its ecosystem to radiation. More than 3 decades later, the power plant has shut down, but the cooling pond remains. The catfish living there are considered radioactive, but studies have not confirmed mutation. Their unsettling presence comes from their size, some over 6 feet long, and their bold behavior. Underwater cameras have recorded them swimming calmly through the contaminated water, often approaching the equipment without hesitation. These catfish have become apex predators in an isolated radioactive ecosystem. Their size results from favorable conditions, not genetic change. However, their survival and growth raise important questions about how life adapts in extreme environments and what other species might be undergoing similar changes, quietly evolving in the shadow of one of history's worst nuclear incidents. Residents in the Chernobyl exclusion zone only learned the truth about the incident after high radiation levels were detected in Sweden, forcing Soviet authorities to make a public announcement. Today, Chernobyl and Pripyat attract not only dark tourism but also artists. One such project, Shadows of Chernobyl, features haunting silhouettes painted on abandoned buildings. Created illegally by artists from around the world, the goal was to revive the empty city through powerful visual storytelling. These artworks follow a unified concept, shadows of people frozen in their final moments. A child reaching for an elevator that no longer works, a mother staring toward the reactor, each piece echoes the loss of life and home. Though not officially sanctioned, the project has gained attention for its emotional depth. Opinions remain divided. Some praise the works as poignant memorials, while others see them as inappropriate or disrespectful. Yet when cameras capture these silhouettes framed by crumbling walls, they highlight the tension between memory and decay, art and loss, reminding viewers of the human cost of the incident in a way statistics never could. Do you think the Shadows of Chernobyl art project is a meaningful tribute to those affected, or should abandoned spaces like this be left untouched? Let me know what you think in the comments. Beneath the steel dome covering Reactor 4, scientists detected something troubling in 2021. Radiation sensors in room 3052, sealed since 1986, began recording rising neutron emissions, all signs of possible nuclear reactions restarting deep within the wreckage. The source appears to be corium, a solid mass formed when the uranium fuel melted and mixed with sand, steel, and concrete during the meltdown. Though the reactions are weak, the increase is steady, raising concerns. Room 3052 is nearly impossible to access. It's buried under unstable structures, blocked by debris, and flooded with radiation. No one has entered since the incident, and even advanced robots can't survive the conditions. Scientists suspect the stable environment created by the new safe confinement dome, installed in 2016, may be enabling these reactions. Previously, rain and fluctuating temperatures likely disrupted the corium, keeping it dormant. Now, drier air and consistent temperatures may be allowing fuel to react again. While there's no immediate danger, the growing neutron count is closely monitored. Entering the room to insert neutron-absorbing materials like boron is technically difficult. The risk isn't a second explosion, but potential radioactive release or delays in safely dismantling the site. For now, time remains, but scientists are alert. Nearly 40 years after the Chernobyl incident, animals in the exclusion zone still show signs of genetic mutation. Wolves are among the most studied, and scientists have observed an unusual trait. Many have curled tails, unlike the typical straight, lowered tails of healthy wolves. This physical difference led to deeper research, revealing something even more significant. These wolves are exposed to over 11 millibars of radiation daily, 6 times higher than safe levels for humans, yet appear unaffected. Biologists discovered that Chernobyl's wolves have developed genetic changes linked to cancer resistance. The adaptations observed are similar to those seen in humans undergoing radiation therapy. This has opened new avenues for studying cancer resilience in living organisms. Camera footage shows these wolves thriving in contaminated zones. They appear healthy, with thick fur and strong builds, and exhibit normal behavior, hunting, socializing, and raising offspring in areas still considered hazardous. The curled tails have become a visible marker of genetic adaptation, while the continued survival of multiple generations suggests these traits are being successfully passed down, offering a rare look at how life may evolve in response to extreme environmental stress. Southwest of Pripyat lies a contaminated site known for its radiation levels. While most vehicles used during the Chernobyl cleanup were moved to secure storage, some items remain, including a large digger claw. Believed to have been used to clear radioactive debris from the reactor roof, the claw now sits abandoned in the forest. Experts say it's still so radioactive that touching it could be life-threatening. Though its exact history isn't fully confirmed, the claw is thought to have scraped uranium, graphite, or concrete from highly contaminated areas. It was likely left behind in haste after cleanup operations ended. Now it draws attention from tourists and is often included in exclusion zone tours. Despite its radiation levels, it's considered safe to approach but not to touch. Footage of the claw reveals more than old machinery. It captures a piece of the frantic human response to the incident. Its rusted surface bears the scars of intense use, a reminder of the workers who risked their lives to control the spread of contamination. Over time, the forest has begun to reclaim it. Vines wrap around the joints, moss spreads over the metal, and young trees grow nearby. This scene reflects how nature steadily overtakes even the most dangerous human artifacts, turning them into silent, radioactive monuments to a moment of crisis. An artisanal vodka called Atomic, made with grain and water from the Chernobyl exclusion zone, is the first consumer product to emerge from the area around the damaged nuclear plant. Priced at around $65 per bottle, the vodka uses slightly radioactive apples sourced from a farm within the outer ring of the 18-mile zone, where access is restricted and farming is still officially banned. According to its creators, the distillation process removes radioactive elements, making the drink safe. The vodka is part of a 4-year experiment by scientists studying whether crops grown in contaminated areas can be made safe for consumption. Around 10,000 people still live in the outer zone, and the project aims to support local communities by exploring the possibility of safe agriculture. When cameras document the production of Atomic, they capture a rare process, turning crops grown in a once radioactive landscape into a marketable product. Beyond the alcohol itself, the project highlights efforts to restore economic activity in a region long seen as uninhabitable. Atomic vodka has sparked debate. Some view it as a symbol of recovery and resilience, others question the ethics and safety of using crops from such a site. Regardless, the project raises important questions about contamination, recovery, and how we define safe use of land marked by a nuclear incident. Would you try a vodka made from ingredients grown in the Chernobyl exclusion zone if scientists say it's safe, or does the origin still make you hesitant? Share your thoughts below. More than 35 years after the Chernobyl incident, traces of radiation can still be found in locally produced food, including staple items like milk. In regions of Ukraine affected by the fallout, scientists tested cow's milk from small farms about 120 miles from the site. Results showed radiation levels exceeding safety limits, up to 5 times the recommended level for adults and over 12 times for children. Despite this, many residents continue to live in these areas and maintain self-sufficient lifestyles. Over time, communities have adapted, developing routines and local economies. Cows remain the most common livestock among self-settlers, and as some animals have begun roaming freely, dairy products remain accessible for daily use, especially where supply chains for imported goods may be limited. Researchers note that practical steps could significantly reduce exposure. For around $20 per person annually, simple safety measures could help lower contamination levels in food to meet health guidelines. With approximately 8,300 people living in the 6 most affected villages, these interventions could make a real difference in improving food safety. Scientists hope this information continues to spread and support reaches those who need it most. Protective gear designed to help people breathe safely in the presence of gas, smoke, or toxic fumes was developed well before chemical weapons were first used in 1915. Today, traces of that technology can still be found in Pripyat, the town near the Chernobyl nuclear power plant. Recent footage shows how nature is gradually reclaiming the abandoned town, with one of the most striking scenes found inside a former middle school. This school, once a modern and well-equipped facility with music rooms and sports areas, now houses one of the most photographed collections of gas masks in the exclusion zone. Hundreds of child-sized masks, originally stored for emergencies during the Cold War, now lie scattered across classroom floors. These masks were intended to protect children from nuclear, biological, or chemical threats, preparedness that became crucial in the days following the 1986 incident. Located next to the town's indoor swimming pool, this school was one of 5 secondary institutions in the area. Today it stands silent, with gas masks and gauze left behind in what was once a daycare center. These remnants serve as a quiet reflection of the town's past, reminding visitors of how daily life was interrupted, and how even in abandonment, history continues to speak through what remains. These 15 discoveries captured by cameras in Chernobyl reveal a truth that's both terrifying and fascinating. Life finds a way even in the most impossible circumstances. From fungi that feed on radiation to wolves that have developed cancer resistance, from mysterious blue glows to reactors that refuse to stay silent, Chernobyl continues to challenge everything we thought we knew about survival, adaptation, and the limits of life itself. What did you think of these discoveries? Have you ever wondered what other secrets might be hiding in the world's most radioactive places? Let me know in the comments below. And if you found this exploration of Chernobyl's mysteries as fascinating as I did, make sure to subscribe for more incredible discoveries that challenge everything we think we know about our world. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Thanks for being with us. Leave a comment, like to show your support, and remember to hit that subscribe button for more exciting videos. See you next time.